Police look into possible hate crime charges as they reveal new details about the circumstances leading up to the killing of Metairie handyman Lawrence Herr last month.
As Rob Masson reports, they say one of the suspects has admitted to his role, saying they just wanted to go out and kill a white guy.
They have been booked with the first-degree murder of 66-year-old handyman Lawrence Herr, also known as Peanut, who was gunned down while repairing this mailbox on Kenner's Georgetown place last month.
This man was out minding his own business. He was a good Samaritan, just doing his job as he does. As you travel through this community, people speak very highly of him. So it's just sickening.
During a Tuesday video appearance in magistrate court, Kenner Police Detective Nicholas Engler said that 23-year-old Taj Matthews and 25-year-old Maurice Holmes were captured on surveillance video taken at a Clemson Drive apartment complex just 2 hours before the killing. In the video, the detective testified that Holmes can be seen passing a weapon to Matthews. The detective also testified that a box of 9mm bullets were found on the floor of the car used in the deadly drive-by shooting last month.
Later in the confession, they did indicate that they were specifically not only looking to kill somebody, but they wanted it to be a white person. So that would set up the charge of a hate crime.
Detective Engler also testified that Matthews confessed to hiding a 9mm pistol in his attic, while Holmes, who served 6 years in a Texas prison for domestic violence, has been tight-lipped. Both men worked at a nearby IHOP. The detective said that Holmes went to work that morning and presented a doctor's note saying he was sick. He was allowed to leave 2 hours before Herr was murdered. While Kenner police say defendant Taj Matthews has allegedly made some incriminating statements about the crime which occurred here last month, they say co-defendant Maurice Holmes has denied any involvement in Mr. Herr's killing. Magistrate Commissioner Paul Schneider denied bond for the suspects. Matthews and Holmes remain locked up in Jefferson Parish after being booked with the first-degree murder of Lawrence Herr, who died shortly after being fatally shot while doing his job. From Kenner, Rob Masson, Fox 8 Local First.